Now that the sun is finally starting to come up, we saw a lot of the damage. Even in the dark, it was hard to miss it. But we are in Morgan County this morning, one of the two counties that we are in, again, in southern Indiana, where we're seeing a lot of that damage, I believe. Wow. This is from one of our crews that was near that campgrounds, and you can just see trees snapped completely there. We're going to check in with our crews to get an update on how things look now that the sun is up. But yeah, just from this live shot alone, you can tell it's pretty bad in this area.
And you heard that gentleman who went through this storm, rode it out overnight. He said you would not believe the lightning flashes from the sky from a plane headed into Indianapolis. So we'll have that for you here coming up after we survey all of this damage here. Again,
it's the lightning. Check this out.
Yeah. And remember, he said how strong that lightning was, that he could just hear it and hear it. So again, imagine being on an airplane.
I was just about to say that.
As you're flying in.
I love a front row view, but that is probably one of the times I would prefer to watch that from the ground. But the plane got down okay, and we are seeing just on radar how active this was, and even this morning to start. As you can see, that line that appears to be like right in that same area of southern, or to the south of us anyway. We're going to check in with our crews in just a bit, get back out live, and show you what a lot of you are waking up to this morning. But we're glad you're up with us here on your Thursday morning. The good news is that the severe weather, the threat, is out of our area and has been for a little while, but we're left behind with that damage.
I was just looking at that video that our crews, where Anna is this morning, and you could just see those trees sheared off. This is an area that's heavily wooded, you know, very kind of isolated as far as from major construction area, or, you know, buildings, I guess.
Urban area, it's very rural down there across portions of northern Monroe County, kind of southern Morgan into northern portions of Brown County as well. We know that it is a very heavily wooded, a lot of forest, a lot of parks and things like that down there. And we do know that there's going to be 2 zones that will 100% need to be surveyed. And this is going to be because of some radar confirmed tornado debris signatures, the one that we were just talking about and where our crews are. It was this tornado from Owen County, where it initiated, over into northern Monroe, into Brown County. That first warning issued at 9:52 last night. And then we had a secondary radar confirmed tornado debris signature that happened in northern Jackson County, which is just to the north of Seymour. That one just before midnight. We also had several other damage reports, again, most of them south of I-70, and a lot of them because of wind damage and trees down and things like that. So I briefly wanted to dive in a little bit what our team was tracking for you yesterday evening. Of course, we had over 10 hours of live streaming coverage on both our NBC channel as well as our WTHR streaming app. Angela was here, Rob was here, Sean was here, all with this team coverage. Of course, our crews working behind the scenes, just doing a really good job on a very difficult evening as we saw this tornado debris signature show up. Now, this is the correlation coefficient, which is just a tool on radar that we use to use those radar beams. They kind of send out those signals, and whenever they get the signals that are in uniform, we know that's all one thing, that it's hitting like a water droplet or rainfall. But whenever we see something like this show up on radar, it's a good sign that it's taking non-meteorological targets into account, and it shows up in a different color. That's how we knew that there was some debris being lofted into the atmosphere, crossed over the I-69 corridor, and then continued to track off to the east. So this was a hefty storm, of course, as we even had some very strong upper-level winds blowing some of those debris to the north. So something that we'll monitor for you. This was yesterday evening. Again, as we head into our morning, we're going to continue to watch this whole system track off to the south, and we are now on the backside of all of that active weather. Even our flash flood warnings allowed to expire out there right now. So we'll continue to track this quieting weather pattern down for today, coming up in your full forecast. We'll get you to the traffic center now. It is 6:05, and we have a crash out on the west side of town involving looks like a truck that spun out in the opposite direction, but this is blocking several travel lanes now in the southbound direction of 465 near 10th Street. Looks like at least 3 travel lanes are now blocked as emergency crews are arriving on scene. This is creating a little bit of a backup out there on the city's west side, coming southbound just to the south of 10th Street, where we've got some stop and go traffic up to near those I-74 ramps. So we'll keep you posted on that, as well as your weather updates through the morning.
Lindsay, thank you. And now we want to continue as the sun's starting to come up. We might be able to see some of that damage from last night's storm.
Yeah, we've seen when it was dark this morning with our crews out there. Marina Silva is in the Gosport in Morgan County. But first, we're going to get up to Anna Chalker. She's in the Mason Ridge Campground in Monroe County.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe where that tornado went through is right behind you.
That's what we're believing, ladies, because I mean, you can just see that here, the way these trees have fallen into the entrance of that campground in the middle of the Morgan Monroe State Forest. I mean, just look at this one here, the way it has split from here's the little bottom part of the tree and then the bottom part here. But like you said, that path right behind us here, we're going to be a little careful as we step through the area this morning because of all the leaves and limbs and trees that are down. But this is that path that we have just seen, and we haven't been able to see that until the last few minutes because of how dark it is. And the major roads to get into the campground, they're all blocked off by huge trees that have crossed each other. And then we've got this little road that we were able to sneak onto and see this here. You just really see how these are splitting in this area. There is a playground nearby that I will tell you, it was not touched by any of these trees. They just fell. And from what we can see, the storm just went that way. So it's really interesting to see how this is looking now that the sun is up. We're hoping to look at a little more. We actually walked more into the campground a moment ago. We did not see any vehicles, anyone there. So thankfully, if no one was here last night, they are safe, not in this area. We're checking in with the State Forest, checking in with EMA to see what this is looking like here in this area throughout the morning for the damage reports. But again, a lot going on here inside of the campground, hopefully getting some more information soon. But that path, we think we found it, and this is where a lot of that surveying is going to be happening today.
And that sounds like best case scenario. I'm really glad to hear that it seems like most people were out of that area and that path didn't quite get to where campers would have been. Anna, thank you. We'll check in with you in just a bit.
And Gosport was hit pretty hard last night as well. Our Marina Silva has been surveying the damage there in the aftermath.
All right, good morning, Marina. I can't tell if you have moved or if we're just seeing a different angle, but this looks a little bit different, maybe just because the sun is up, and that might help neighbors see a lot of that damage this morning.
Well, yes to everything, Jalea. We have moved. We're just pretty much in the same area. We're still on Texas Ridge Road this morning, but as the sun comes up, we're getting a different look into what we're seeing. So I want to show you right now. Look at a home behind me. So we are, again, here on Texas Ridge Road, and we're staying kind of far back for right now. It doesn't appear that anybody is home right now, but just look at all of this debris. In the front yard, we're seeing branches all over. We're seeing part of what looks to be like the siding of the house in the backyard, along with a lot of other debris over there right now. I saw some flower pots that were tipped over, so a lot of damage, and it really is heartbreaking to see now as the sun comes up this morning. And even next door, I'm gonna have our photographer pan over just a little bit. You can see that tree just snapped in half, falling into the yard. As we've been out here right now, we have heard a lot of popping from these trees. We've told you a lot about a lot of these trees that are in the roadway, so just be very careful. I was actually able to speak with a different homeowner this morning as he heard the storm last night.
I was just walking around and I've lost more trees than I thought I had lost. What looked like we're standing, the tops are gone. And I was just coming out. I'm floored.
That homeowner was telling me that his wife was sleeping inside. He was doing everything he could to protect her as the storm was going on. So that he also tells me he's lived here for decades, and he's already had other people calling asking what can they do to help. And he says that's really how this community is. They're all going to come together to really help out and clean up this area. Now, I do want to let you know that if you don't have power or if you need somewhere to go, Steinsville Community Building is opening up a shelter, so you are able to go there. We know a lot of people, it doesn't seem like they're here right now. There is not any power. You can hear some generators in the background, so a lot of people we believe to be are at that shelter, but that is open if you need somewhere to go. If you know this area, it's the old Steinsville Elementary Building. That's where that is. It's now the community building. But ladies, we'll send it back to you guys.
And Marina, is the roof of that first home you showed us just shaved off?
Looked like it was.
The roof of that one home, is it just gone?
Yes, We can't get back there really to tell. From this side it does, but from the other side it doesn't really look like that. So from where we are, it does kind of look like that, but I can tell you that you can kind of see the siding of the house is definitely off.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And that just showing you, he mentioned one side not seeing like it's a lot of damage. And I think a lot of neighbors are going to see that too. From home to home, it'll be different. So we'll check back in with you in just a bit. Glad to hear from that one man who is okay this morning after waiting out the storm at home. It is 6:11. Lindsay, good morning.
Yeah, and something that we all just need to keep in mind is the fact that this has come to an end. All of that severe weather now tracking off to our southeast. We did have some lingering flash flood warnings in southern Indiana, and that has since also been allowed to expire. So we're going to quiet our weather pattern down for today. We'll talk about the road to the weekend coming up in your full forecast.